3, 2, 1. Alright, so you've chosen your Hags background, you've chosen the cultural inspirations and the fictional inspirations for it. Let's talk about how players are going to encounter it. Now, first of all, Hags, generally speaking, work in covens. Now, there's two reasons for this. The first is that goes with the witch motif of witches are a movement, they are an order, and they are all in league with Satan, and there are hundreds, if not thousands of them throughout the land. Now that suggests to me that witches and hags and the movements and the doings and the cults that the hags belong to might be a villain after the vein of a secret society villain. You know, most villages or towns might have a hag operating in them. Satan might be besieging the land that you're living in, that your campaign world takes place in, and the campaign might be strongly based around the idea of rooting out and finding this supernatural cult. And before that, they can gather at Valpurgis Nacht, Witches' Night, and perform the ritual of the Grand Grimoire. The other kind of coven for hags is the Triple Goddess and the Maiden and the Mother and the Crone. Now, those are very, very powerful and very, very old mythological concepts and folkloric concepts. Go read about them if you're going to use hags. You'll find a lot of inspiration. But essentially, you've got a young hag, you've got a motherly hag, and you've got an ancient, withered, specifically very, very cruel hag. And you should think about that order of superiority as well. Grandmother bosses around mum, mum bosses around maiden. And perhaps that's an in for your players to figure out how to destabilize the coven. Something else for DMs to contemplate is that hags are often linked with furies, with nemesis, with this idea of divine retribution. Sin and evil attract a hag, and that they are sort of the attack dogs of the gods. They are the punishment for evil, and that gives a bit of a twist in the tail to any adventure. Your players go and take the adventure hook. Yes, we will go and deal with this hag who lives in the cave by the sea for you. They stab up the hags, yay, only to return to discover that the village has been hiding evil rebels. They have been worshipping the devil. They have been selling their children into slavery. They have been doing something that deserved hags' attentions. DMs are also served by deciding what is the provenance of the hag. 5e really does play up two different kinds of hags. One is the satanic hag, the night hag, the creature from hell, or who is aligned to hell, who is looking to overturn virtue and tempt people into sin and then hurt them. But the other is the fey hag, the green hag, the creature out of folklore, and specifically kinds of Celtic folklore. You should go and look up guys like Jenny Greenteeth and Black Annis and Jack in the Irons and these kinds of creatures that existed in a pagan context. And if you're going to get the most out of the green witches, if you're going to get the most out of the Celtic style witch and hag, you're going to want to, in your world building, suggest that there is either an older religion than the dominant one within the setting, or an alternate one that exists uneasily side by side with the current religion. And those hags that belong to the fairy tradition are probably going to be somehow loyal to that pagan religion, and they will be acting in the best interests of it. And it is not the morality of the current existing religion. So you will tend to encounter hags like that when humans are trespassing into the wild, when humans are disrespecting ancient traditions, when humans are defiant about their place in the world, not obedient to the Fae like they were once in the past. And really, for those hags, they come from the ancient past. They are the memories of a more terrifying era for humanity. So before the adventures begin, what my characters reasonably expected to know about hags. As always, there's 4 kind of laws, there's 4 skills that will tell players what their characters know about a hag or the monster in question before they encounter it. History. I like hags as having long folkloric traditions with a location. So a character with history lore, they might, be able to read the parish records, be able to see the rune stones, be able to just talk with the old timers in town. and figure out, oh, well, there's the old legend of Peg Powler who's been hanging around the place since the 1700s. That's a good use of history lore. Secondly is religion. You're going to know about witches if you have a good religion score. If witches are an important enemy of your god, or an important enemy of even civilization, religion will tell you about them. In a fantasy world, that's part of what religion is for. Ways to fight them and deal with them, to protect your soul from the night hag. Arcana, you'll basically know the powers for the sea hag, the illusions and the horrific visions. For green hags, the illusion powers again, and for night hags, the soul taking and the dreams. A good Arcana score will tell you exactly what kind of magic will be used against you. Oh, I forgot the fourth. Natural law. No, I don't think it will tell you anything. Let's finish up with some adventure hooks. Alright, first of all, for whatever reason, plague, war, or a new religion has moved in, the ancient rites to the Dark Mother or the kindly woman of the woods or the gentle ones, it's stopped. The festival is over. The sacrifices are no longer made. Bit of a problem because the kindly women of the woods are not local spirits. They're a coven of hags, and they are angry that they are no longer getting their sacrifices. So what begins as like a plague of boils, spoiled milk, soon escalates until local children begin to go missing, which is where the PCs become involved. About half the village is out of their mind with worry and fear for the kids and for the future, but the other half is more terrified of the wrath of the hags. We need to let these kids go, or it will be much, much worse for us. He's a court between these two factions of the villagers. Who's right, who's wrong? Probably not the guys who are all pro-sacrifice children. Number two, one of your PCs begins to have visions, maybe of a mentor or a king or a saint or an angel or even the god that they worship, saying, you know what you should do? You should definitely fatten yourself up, have a shower, and then come out into the woods. Don't bring a sword or anything. You'll be right. Of course, that's a night hag luring them in. Now, most players are going to be smart enough to say, guys, something's messing with my head. Let them. But the hag is saying to them, I have something for you, and if you betray me, you won't get it. If you don't do as I say, I'll give it to someone else. Trick greedy players. Then you bring down the hammer. Number three. This works if you have laid some groundwork to set up hags and other folkloric villains as a recurring enemy in your campaign. The night has come at last, the night of darkness, witch's night, the night of the blue stars. All the hags from all around the country are going to meet up on a mountain or in a volcano or somewhere where they will get their orders for the year from the devil. So for players, they know about this, they learn about it beforehand, and maybe they can set traps, and maybe they can raid the hags when they're meeting with the devil, or if they're smart or mercenary, someone comes along and says to them, this is the night where we know that all the hags are out of their lairs. Now is a good time to steal their stuff, to try and free souls that they've collected, or to simply just wait for them and strike them and ambush them when they come back. Up to you. Number 4. 3 hags are raising a boy. Why? Because, of course, he's the Antichrist. He's the son of the god of the darkness of your campaign. And they are raising him to be a monstrous warlord in the name of evil. And probably he is an evil child. And slowly but surely you begin to realize that the 3 women on the edge of town and the little kid, they are why things are going vanishing. They are why dogs are missing on the street. They are why at night things have begun to flap around in the darkness outside town. Or maybe the child isn't evil, and in fact, he's just waiting to be rescued or dealt with or given an opportunity to not be the son of darkness. It's up to you. But either way, someone's brought the Antichrist to town. 5. Last one. So a town, maybe your town, a local community, have a long-standing relationship with a more fairy-themed coven of hags. They're not demonic soul catchers. They're protectors of the wild. They're not very nice women. They're not tame. They're not just nice old biddies who live down the road. They're wild. They're dangerous. They can't really be trusted. But an existing relationship that works out for both the town and the coven has been around for a long, long time and has been mutually beneficial. They are wise and they are powerful, and they don't like to farm. They don't like to whatever. So the town does provide them things. And then one day a bunch of inquisitors or witch hunters or even just a local adventuring party of bad adventurers comes to town and say, right, we're going to deal with these hags for you. You're welcome. Now, you've had a long-standing relationship with these hags. Do you help them out? Do you really put yourself in the way of the Inquisition and the church? Do you really want to murder humans for the sake of hags? And do you really want these people to be able to come into your community and say, no, we know best? Bit of a moral quandary for you. Man, this video took ages to make. I'm not entirely sure why. But anyway, hags, great favourite of mine. Hopefully something has been useful to you here in these videos. I think that there are so many good ways to use them. I think that they fit so many roles, from horrific potential ally to nightmarish stalker to demonic patron if you're of that particular ilk. There's just so much that we haven't even talked about. But that's enough for now. I think that you can find a use for any kind of hag in so many different kind of adventures. I hope this has been useful to you. You know how YouTube works, liking and the sharing and the subscribing. Thank you very much. I'm Christian. This is Crowline Publishing. See you next time.